What's up, everyone? We're going to be talking about the best horror movies of 1999. You got to realize at this time, the millennium was coming. And most of the fear resonating in people's minds was like, what's going to happen in 2000? You know, is it going to be the rapture? Is it going to be like Revelations, fire and brimstone? Is like, you know, like the devil gonna show up and Jesus and we're all gonna have like a giant war? That resonated in like the themes of the movies where you had a lot of like omen and like 666 and like demons and the devil showing up. Let's get into the top 10 horror movies of 1999. First up, I just watched this recently. First up, at number 10, Colobos. Now this movie was like I haven't heard of this movie, but I checked it out and what got a time capsule of 1999 because it captured reality TV, real world like MTV era reality TV, not like the current state, early Big Brother kind of stuff where they and it also feels like the movie Cube because there's death traps in a house and a reality TV, Cube, and a little bit of Saw, and a little bit of a slasher. I mean, it's at number 10. Give it a chance. Number 9, Stigmata. You know, like I said, this reflects, Stigmata reflects the whole, we were scared that the devil was going to show up. And it's a little bit of The Omen, it's a little bit of The Exorcist, Patricia Arquette and stigmatized and possessed. You know, she's doing her best. Regan from The Exorcist, Gabriel Byrne, captures that vibe. And like, if you want to know like what that felt like, Stigmata is the movie to watch. Number 8, The Haunted. Now, this movie is chock full of actors, and I think two things that like, this isn't like the best movie I read. Don't get me wrong, it's not like the best horror movie, but like for what it's worth, it's a good time waster. It's got a good cast, and the visuals are really eerie. So like all those things combined, it's sort of like a ho-hum, like the TV series. But I've seen better versions of this story, but this one has a few good jump scares. You know, it's got Liam Neeson, Owen Wilson, Catherine Zeta-Jones. Like, you could do it worse than that. Number 7. Now, this one's a kind of a stretch. It's not a full-on horror movie, but Nicolas Cage in this movie and the subject matter of 8mm, definitely horrific. The whole adult industry behind the scenes of 8mm and finding like these exhibitionists, psychopaths, sleazy. It's dark, it's depressing. 8mm, in a lot of ways, is a horror movie. So, you know, and this is early before, you know, the adult world kind of just like took over the internet. This is like, you know, sort of like The Ring, where like, you know, if you watch the tape, you're gonna like, you know, face is gonna melt and just like fucking explode, and just like, it's just dark. It's a dark movie. You know, like I said, Nicolas Cage is really awesome in an 8mm. Number 6, Stir of Echoes. I saw this in the movie theater, and there's a jump scare in this movie where he sits down. Wait, I'm not gonna spoil it. But the ghost subject matter in Stir of Echoes and the eerie ambience of this movie is just perfect. It's one of the best. Not just in 1999. This is one of the better ghost movies that I've seen in the horror genre, and it doesn't get a lot of credit, but Kevin Bacon carries this movie on his back, and it has a great use of the song Painted Black by Rolling Stones. Stir of Echoes. Number 5. I always recommend this movie to people. Every time I say cannibals, Civil War, Guy Pearce, dismiss it. It's got satirical themes. It's funny at times. It's like the Civil War prison camp. A stranger shows up and leads them into a cannibal death trap, and they have to and it's got like supernatural themes because it's like if you eat people, you get stronger. It's like vampire, but instead of blood, they eat people. It's called Ravenous. It's good. Guy Pearce, check it out. Ravenous. I really like Ravenous. Nobody wants to watch it though. Again, no thanks. Number 4, the movie that made M. Night Shyamalan. I See Dead People. Bruce Willis. One of the best twists of all time. But here's the thing. I think that twist kind of... no, it's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. But once you know the twist, it's at number 4. So, it's a good movie. But once you know that twist, it's like, all right. I saw the movie. I know the twist. But the thematically, huge achievement for the director, Bruce Willis. Haley Joel Osment, great child actor at the time. I See Dead People, Sixth Sense at number 4. Number 3, Tim Burton went full-blown Tim Burton in this movie. It's like he looked at himself in the mirror and said, how can Tim Burton be Tim Burton? And that's when Sleepy Hollow was born, because he got Christina Ricci and he got Johnny Depp, and they're all God, and the whole movie's all God to the extreme. It's visually beautiful, and Sleepy Hollow, it's the most classic American horror story. It's up there. It's up there like the Salem Witch Trials, Sleepy Hollow, the Headless Horseman. It's early Americana horror, and it's all captured in its most Tim Burton-y movie with Sleepy Hollow. Now I remember hype behind this movie. They're like, this is real. If you go out in the woods, you're gonna just get freaking evaporated by this witch. And everyone's just like, everyone, you can contest what the first found footage movie was. And you can go back in the 70s and you go back to the 80s and no, this is when we use the documentary style. And but this is the first time they did it this way. The way Blair Witch did the found footage movie is the way it's being replicated. When you watch documentary style movies, they're like, oh, they're doing the Blair Witch. And that's not the format. But here's the thing. Where did the doc trend? Because, in the 90s, after Doom, the video game was made, you had Doom clones. And after Blair Witch was made, you had Blair Witch clones. So there might have been times back in the history where people made the docu-style horror, but the wave that Blair Witch made, that was the wave. Even if you watch this, it's boring at times. It's like, what are we doing? We're watching these people walk around the woods and they're finding stick figures, but sometimes the boringness of a movie, this is why you need to stick with horror movies. The boringness of a movie elevates the moment when the scare comes. I know some people need the boom, boom, scary, but it's just such on a medium level that the big scare gets lost. And that's what the Blair Witch follows. You leave the movie theater, you're like, maybe that was real. And you're driving through the woods at night, and you're like, did you see that thing in the woods? What? No, it was the Blair Witch. That happened to me. But it sticks with you. A horror movie that sticks with you is a scary horror movie that goes boom, 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 the whole movie. That's just me. Alright, number 1. Japanese horror movie can be really eerie, and Audition is no exception. Because this movie just creeped me out when I first watched this. It's so creepy, because it feels like a real-life story, that you had to watch out, because the story of Audition is this rich guy sets up an audition, a fake movie audition, to get a girlfriend, and boy does he get it coming to him, because the girl he finds to be his lover is just this complete psychopath. And in the end, when he gets his comeuppance, you're like, all right, you know what? What he did was kind of gross and creepy. I don't know if he deserved what this got to him with the I don't know. I think the reason why Audition is number one is because it still stands to today. It stands the test of horror movie continuity. Like, you always go back to when you think Japanese horror, and you think Takashi and Miike, you think of Audition, and maybe Ichi the Killer and a couple other movies, and a whole bunch of other awesome movies. He's a great director. Audition at number one. And that's the top 10 horror movies of this year. I will see you next time for the best horror movies of 2000. Peace out, everyone. See you later. Love you all.